Ike Live, brought to you exclusively by Abu Garcia.
Hey everybody, how you doing tonight? Welcome to a brand new Ike Live. This is the 2.0 style, and we've got a good show for you tonight. Joining us live here in the cabin are my good friends, the Werewolves. Woo! Woo! From Tackle Warehouse. And tonight is a full moon, by the way. If you're watching, check the facts. Should they fact check me on this? Or?
Well, they're probably wondering why the hell we're werewolves.
It's a full moon.
It's a full moon. Of course we're werewolves. Appreciate you joining us tonight. It's going to be a good show. I've got Daniel and Corey. Wait, reverse. Corey. Everything's backwards, so I'm a little messed up. I've got my good friends Corey and Daniel from Tackle Warehouse tonight here, and we're going to have a great show. First and foremost, shout out to Abu Garcia for sponsoring this podcast. AbuGarcia.com. Check out the latest tackle. Also, the Ike Series 3.0 just dropped this year at ICAST. Go check them out. They are available for pre-order at
TackleWarehouse.com.
TackleWarehouse.com. Also brought to you by the Ike Foundation. If you want to help get kids involved in fishing, head over to IkeFoundation.org. A lot of great information over there. All right, first things first. It is actually me. Oh, we've got these really amazing shirts on tonight. You want to, Corey, talk about shirts?
I need to get my hat real quick.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
All right. So
Here, I'll show off my hat. Or my shirt here.
let's take a look at the shirts we've got. We're the Masturbators crew. And if you watch the Olympics, I hear a lot of people. Here's the thing here, and maybe this is a great topic to start on if you're watching, guys. Were you surprised? And remember, this is Ike Live, so you guys have to be honest with me.
Oh shit!
Were you guys surprised at the amount of hate about breakdancing being a sport, dude? Listen. If you're watching this and you watch my social media feed, I made a post. We had a day canceled at Lake Champlain.
Yeah. And
I made a post and I'm watching the breakdancing part of the Olympics. Dude, people chewed me up about Olympics are bullshit. Breakdancing's not a sport. I'm like, come on, man. It's more of a sport than some of the sports in breakdancing. For crying out loud. It's in California, in Los Angeles.
Next time.
Next time.
In 4 years. Yeah.
Their selection was flag football. For crying out loud, breakdancing is more of a sport than flag football.
I will agree with that, absolutely.
Right?
I think the problem was all the social media memes and stuff from that one Australian girl.
The Australian girl.
She ruined it, I think.
Right.
Because, like you were telling me, if you actually watch it, you'll see what these athletes are doing, artists.
Yeah.
And it's unbelievable, like, their athletic ability and what they're doing. But unfortunately, that one girl that didn't take it seriously.
Yeah. It was crazy. Then she's a professor of breakdancing or something like that. That's what they said.
In Australia.
She had a doctorate in breakdancing, and maybe her intent was good. I mean, she brought more attention to it, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but maybe some negative.
Well,
but I mean,
the analogy for the Australian, and we're speaking of the women's competition, is forward-facing sonar. The Australian woman and forward-facing sonar have ruined their respective sports. So there's that. I'm trying to look at the comment. Senior breakdancing in 4 years. Yeah, I know. A lot of people really downing the breakdancing part. And I don't see it. But anyway, thank you for joining us tonight. First of all, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why we are doing this live and where we're at right now. So we're in upstate New York. We are doing a Tackle Warehouse video shoot this week. This has become a yearly thing.
Oh, every year, yeah.
A yearly thing. How many years? Do you have a sense of how many years we've been doing this?
It must be close to 10.
Gotta be close to 10.
Yeah.
Gotta be close to 10.
Yeah, once a year for probably 9 or 10 years.
Yeah.
Without missing a year.
Without every year. So we get to hop around. I don't know why it keeps doing that. We get to hop around a little bit. And so we've done these shoots in Texas, Florida,
Clear Lake in California.
Clear Lake in California, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And this week we're in upstate New York. So so very excited to be here. Why do you guys, I know a lot of people are watching, they're like, why does Tackle Warehouse need to do videos? What's the premise of these videos, Corey?
You know, I think a lot of people probably think it is to sell a product, but for us, when we started out, we want to produce content that people want to enjoy and watch. You know, like we're fishermen ourselves. We all enjoy watching fish, watch you fish.
Yeah.
And also, we want to learn from you guys. So
Right.
really the premise of all the video stuff was trying to produce somewhat entertaining content, but also learn from the best of the best. Learn from you guys.
Right.
Get you guys ahead on how to do stuff, how to throw stuff, how to throw a jig. We're talking about this week. Just how to really just learn and educate people, but also entertain. That's like the main thing. So I mean, in general, if you guys don't like what we're doing, tell us. It sucks. If you do like what we're doing, let us know. Or if you have ideas or other content you want to see, we're here to produce stuff for you guys. So let us know what you guys want to see, and we'd love to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome. The other thing you might not know, and I think a lot of people don't know this, I actually didn't know probably for a few years when I first learned more to the warehouse family than just the tackle.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
so it's awesome. I don't think a lot of people know, but Danny, you get to do a lot of other content.
Yeah, it's been a while actually since I've shot any fishing.
Yeah.
So this trip is like kind of kicking off our fall swing of content creation for the website. But recently I've been doing like running and tennis.
Yeah.
We do ice hockey, horseback riding.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff.
And there's all different warehouses associated with those other
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah.
And websites similar to Tackle Warehouse that
Yeah.
you know have the same general like. So for me, I'm employed by the parent company, and they share photographers, like website designers,
Right.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's if you go to those other websites, it'll kind of look and feel somewhat similar to
Yeah.
Tackle Warehouse. And I'm sure, like, if you guys have parents, maybe they're older, get them on Pickleball Warehouse.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Pickleball
like
warehouse.
Hey, don't pigeonhole for old people, man.
I mean,
hey,
let's be
I'm
honest.
trying to get into it, but I mean, legit, it's like it's the fastest growing thing going in the nation. Whatever it is, inside the building, like everyone is.
Oh, yeah.
It's playing
It is really
pickleball.
fun.
It's playing pickleball now. It's
It is
it's
really
crazy.
fun.
Well, I noticed on the Bassmaster.com, if you were watching, I guess it was last week at Lake Champlain, we had a cancellation day. And did you see how many of the guys?
Mhm.
I saw like Scott Martin, and I saw a bunch of the guys go play pickleball. I thought it was pretty cool. You know?
I was a little bummed out because I saw that after the fact, and that was a Tackle Warehouse event. So we sponsored that one, and we had two guys up there, Chris and Kyle, who both work in the office. And those guys, especially Chris, is a hammer at pickleball.
Wow, you should have been
And
there.
I wish I thought we would have seen him go against those guys and
Yeah.
pull them up, but I guess it didn't happen. But
Wow,
yeah.
that's awesome. So I saying this because these guys are behind me, but it's one of the funnest weeks I get to do a year. That is work, but it doesn't feel like work. You know what I mean? Like we're here, we're getting our work done, and trust me. Listen, these ain't. You got to see the back room here. Like, dude, it looks like a freaking flea market back here. We got camera shit and look at this.
Built, ready to
This
go
camera's
for tomorrow.
worth as much. But we're working really hard, but we have a lot of fun, and I look forward to this every year. It's one of the things I get to do with sponsors who are also friends, and it's a very, 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 very cool thing. But we're in upstate New York. I don't want to give too much away, but you're going to see great smallmouth, you're going to see great largemouth, and you want to tease a little bit more of some of the, what do you want to call it, deeper educational content maybe coming this week? You want to tease about that a little bit? Or?
We got new content, a couple new content pieces coming out. The first one's actually we saw the first edit. And really, it's the key to unlocking a technique. So it's like the key to the first we did with Jerry was buzzbait fishing. So it's really getting with Ike, who's a Jerry. He's a buzzbait guy. He's hardcore. He's into it. He's all about it.
That's his deal.
And it's his jam. He's really into it. And so we want to get those topics with those guys that are really into it, and just have them break down every little thing about it. Get them, and so learn about a cool technique from the best of the best with that technique. And so that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to go with each angler, get what their strength is, and then have them just divulge everything they know about that stuff, so you guys can become just hammers like them to add that technique. So this is what we're doing. Football jigs.
Football jigs. Specific. We're gonna break it all down, full size to compact. Why, when, how, where, everything. Honestly, it's going to be thorough. So I'm excited about that.
That one. We also got a blind cast. I mean, we all grew up watching Bassmaster Day on the Lake. Same kind of thing. We're doing Day on the Lake, but video concept. And again, just getting inside their head, see how they break down a lake. And that's kind of one of the new ones rolling out too.
Yeah. So I just looking at the comments. So Chad Applegate chimed in and said, "I want one of them shirts. Awesome look." So I think your idea was correct. And Ron says, "Time to retire." Ron, I agree with that. I'm gonna have my own announcement coming up very soon. Upstate New York hasn't figured out Wi-Fi. I know it keeps glitching. I'm thinking, should I get off of the Wi-Fi?
Is it bad?
Every once in a while, you see the little death wheel spin.
But we can't get off live because we kill the live. Becky will kill us. Start all over.
Will it kill the live though?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Is it that bad?
I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, here this week, it's going to be a great week. By the way, the beer of the night, if you were wondering, right here is Logical Conclusion. Really good beer. This is out of Massachusetts. What would you call this? You've had one of these. Juicy.
It's a hazy.
A juicy hazy IPA. Logical Conclusion out of Massachusetts. Really good. I'd give it thumbs up.
Also brought to you by Wawa.
Wawa, right? Our unofficial sponsor is Wawa. Okay, I also want to go back and I had a lot of comments coming through, and this is probably a great place to start. Let me scroll back. Discuss how you almost ran over a boater at like a moron, so unsafe and should be DQ'd, and how you walked off stage like a buh. You are supposed to be a top pro, and kids idol you, and you walked off like a child. Bitch.
Can we say that?
How about you suck? And that's Chad, suck my dick, Chad. Chad, suck my dick. And come meet me right now. We'll take care of that. Next. Okay.
We're live.
We are live. That's right. My wife probably is going to kill me. Let's get to other topics. So I guess the biggest topic of the week, and I did see it come up a lot during that scroll. I scrolled to the wrong one, but was some of the things that happened at last week's Elite. So we should probably start with that. One of the biggest storylines of the week was a disqualification of an angler. And we don't have to get into super specifics, but I thought it was interesting that it sort of happened at the last event of the year. It almost went, it went like the whole year with rumors and little things of guys doing the wrong thing, guys cheating or guys pushing the gray. And it took to the last event to have Bass actually issue a DQ. So I really want to hear some of the guys' thoughts, and I want to hear the tackle guys' thoughts on Bass, finally saying, here's a guy that, failed the polygraph, whether the polygraph's legal in a court of law or not, failed the polygraph. Apparently there was some evidence surrounding it. Do you think organizations should be DQing anglers if they're in the wrong, or how do you feel about that? I don't want to hear from both of you guys about it.
What's the point of having the rules if there's no accountability? Not going to be
Got to be accountability,
and that's what it comes down to. It's like every sport has rules, but when something happens, there's fines. There's things that happen. Like you see people getting fined for doing stuff that's maybe off color or that are not what is considered correct to say, wherever it is. Like you'd be fined out your ass right now for saying what you just said a little bit ago if you did that on the back stage, right?
Right.
But when it comes to some of the rules, people just toe the line or go right over it, and something happens. So I think accountability needs to be in place for the rules are almost meaningless. You know, it's like it needs to be enforced. It's just like, it needs to happen.
There's got to be some enforcement, or the rules are meaningless. Right. How do you feel about that?
I mean, from what I've heard from, you know, different tours and stuff, like, there's a little bit of favoritism too. Like they'll allow certain people to do certain things, and I have no proof of any of that, but this is just what I'm hearing.
Right.
So it's like the people that are enforcing the rules have to be neutral as well, right?
Right.
And
I'm reading some of the comments as they're coming through, and basically I'm seeing some comments saying Bass dropped the ball. Bass should have acted on some of these cases earlier. Let me see if I can scroll back. This is really hard to do all this as I'm doing it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of comments coming through. I'm seeing comments coming through basically saying it's about time, you know? And so here's the thing. I don't want to jump to conclusion because I don't know all the facts, right? And so, you know, it's hard when you're commenting here. I'm live and I'm trying to, you know, comment on things that I honestly don't know all the facts on. But if we peel away some of that, I agree with you, Corey, right? And if you fail a polygraph, and if you have evidence that you broke a rule, I think there should be a consequence behind it. So, you know, apparently I blew a no-wake zone and almost ran over a bystander. And, you know, if I did, I didn't do that. But if I did, you know, there should be some kind of penalty for running the no-wake zone or whatever it is. So I think it took too long for an organization to actually put their foot down. And I don't want to put all the, you know, the blame on Bass, because I've heard of this situation. You know, I've heard of the situation. So we'll see what happens. By the way, Becky, should I come off of the Wi-Fi here? I don't know. My wife is the mediator tonight on this podcast, and I see that it keeps glitching, but I'm not sure. Maybe she could just answer me through a text on whether I should get off the Wi-Fi. I'm seeing some Johnsons get special treatment. I'm seeing a lot. Did Trey McKinney's mom get mad because them cheeks have to stop buying waypoints? Okay. Yeah, see, I mean, there's a lot of stuff coming through. A lot of stuff coming through about what happened in the last tournament, what happened in this year. And maybe this changes the topic a little. And I want to hear your guys' opinion, because you are in the fishing industry as much as the fans, as much as the sponsors, as much as the pros themselves. Is it a weird time in the sport right now? Is there an air of unsettledness in profession? Do you feel something now that you say you didn't feel 5 or 10 years ago? Is there something going on in the sport right now?
For sure. I mean, you're hearing a lot of just rumors from all different angles. What's going to be going on? Changes, guys going there, going here, going there. It's kind of somewhat like when the MLF thing first came on board. You hear a lot of rumors, what's going to happen, and then you hear that it's that same kind of thing, but almost a little more of that kind of, like, I think the sonar aspect of stuff is kind of amplifying that a little more with all the controversy and these people and stuff. So it seems it feels like there's a change on brewing, you know, or something's going on.
Right.
I mean, what it is, I mean, it's all a lot of rumors and stuff at this point, but I mean, you hear a lot of stuff going on. I mean,
right.
What it is, I don't know.
Yeah, on all the shoots, I hear like people taking calls and this and that, and it seems like the communication between the organizations and the anglers is lacking, because
good point.
And
good point.
It's like, is it confirmed? Is it real? Like, and so I feel like there's definitely complaints.
Yeah.
Like people aren't happy.
Yeah. Good point. Listen, guys, I think this air of uneasiness in the sport right now has a lot of roots, right? It's not one thing. If you're watching this and you're blaming it all on LiveScope, or you're blaming it all on cheating rookies. I don't think any of that's totally fair, right? I think it's a combination. Get off the Wi-Fi, Lenny says. All right, we're gonna try to do that. How do I do that?
But then we have nothing though.
Well, should we try it? Because I still have the.
What did our Master Chief say?
Let's wait. Let's wait for a second. How do I get rid of
He
this?
says it's clean. It just keeps beeping.
Okay.
So,
so I think Daniel said is true. Listen to me, guys. Hear me out before we start. Hear me out on this. I really believe. I'm probably going to get in trouble for this. I really believe a lot of what's happening, the uneasiness in the sport, is happening from the top. And hear me out on this. What I'm saying is, when you have, Daniel, you hit it perfect. When you have upper management, and listen, business in the world, you could work for a deli down the street. When your boss, when the owner of that company, right, the owner of that organization, or the head people, when there's uneasiness there, it trickles down, right? Like think about that. So if you look at the organizations right now, is it the best leadership we've ever had in those organizations? Do we have people in place in those organizations that are enforcers, motivators, PR people that are pumping the sport up? Do we are uplifting the anglers? No. We don't have that. So I'm not sure. I think a lot of it, Daniel, I think what you said is so right, that all these elements are contributing. But if there's uneasiness at the top, it filters down. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, like I said, you look at it, and that's, I think, an analogy of it's the same in any job, any business.
Right.
It's just like, lead by example, and that's kind of, and that's just how things have to be. And you see it all the time. Like I said, if they're questioning what's going on, or they're having problems, and that's where I guess back to the rumor mill thing too. It kind of filters down. You start hearing things going on, hearing this,
right?
And a lot of times, people assume that starts from the bottom or the outside. A lot of times, that's coming from something that someone close to the top has heard, and that gets slowly filtered down throughout, down to everybody else. And I think that's what we're kind of seeing is kind of just a little bit of that trickle down effect. Again, amplified by everything else that's been going on for the past few years. And
right.
Now they're feeling uneasy,
Right. I'm seeing a lot of comments coming through. By the way, I see Brendan. What's up? Brendan just chiming in. We've got about 600 people live, which is a good number. LiveScope is the most controversial topic because as you're reading them, I see, people for it and against it. But Matt had a comment which basically said, banning. Let me read his exact words. Matt says, banning LiveScope isn't going to end the sport. Every new technology people hate for a couple years, then the outrage ends. Matt, I would agree with that, Matt. I think maybe getting rid of it totally isn't the answer. I think it's caused uneasiness because it was a certain way for so long.
Yeah.
And especially the older anglers, the older fans, it's new, it's different. I struggle with it. I don't like it. But should it be banned because of that? I don't think so, right? Like, my personal opinion, shouldn't ban a technology, right? Like,
it's in a lot of different jobs, you have to keep up with it. Like, whether if you like it or not, you're going to get left behind if you don't. And like you said, the older people probably have a harder time learning that because they didn't grow up with,
Oh, so Becky did have a great comment. See, this is why Becky's really smart. She said, turn off the Wi-Fi on your other devices. So to not eat up the Wi-Fi signal. That makes a lot of sense.
Is it the full moon?
It might be the full moon.
That's probably a problem.
It might be the full moon
The draw.
interfering. I didn't think about that.
Gravitational pull.
Now, this since we turned to the live scope topic, which, by the way, this is depressing.
Ugh.
Daniel, I've talked about it on every Ike Live show for like 2 years. So I was sick of talking about it. But this is Ike Live, so I don't do this. I don't want to make you guys mad. But I heard a rumor about Tackle Warehouse, and I want to put you guys on the spot and ask you if this is true. And here's the thing. Ask Becky. She can nod. We've heard this rumor from multiple people. Okay? So this is going around the fishing industry. And I'm going to paraphrase it because I've heard different numbers. But the rumor basically is that I heard everything from $1 million to $100,000 to the first tournament organization that would ban live scope.
We actually have the cash in a briefcase
With me right now. I'm carrying it.
Except we had to spend a little bit on the.
Oh yeah, we had
$1 million minus that.
Okay, so the rumor's not true.
No.
Okay. All right. Becky and I have heard that rumor.
We were I mean, probably 3 weeks ago. I can't remember what it was.
You heard it too, then,
So,
right?
Like something like, did you hear this? I'm like I assume I heard about. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that's actually going around.
It's going around.
And I heard it, and then that same day, 3 pros hit me up like, "Is this true? Is this true?" I'm like,
Oh yeah.
"What is going on?"
Oh yeah.
Like,
so I think the motive behind, there was probably some motive behind the rumor for people that hate live scope, but I do get the motive though a little bit in thinking that. And hear me out on this, right? And you've heard this one too before. We joked about it today or yesterday, which is forward-facing sonar killing tackle sales in other arenas, right? And we've all heard this before, right? So tackle selling 1 million jig heads, 1 million minnows, 1 million spinning rods, 1 million yards of braid floor leader. But are you guys struggling with jigs, crankbaits, frogs, all these other things? Are you struggling with those sales, and are you that forward-facing sonar will eventually kill the business, right? Because tackle can't survive on minnows and live scope, right? Are you worried about that? Have you talked about that internally? Be honest.
Yeah, you hear the conversations almost happen, once a week, just because people keep asking us that same thing over and over again. And yeah, sure, sales of other baits, they're down. I mean, minnows are through the roof, but overall, I mean, sales overall for us, we're not down. Like, right. So like we're still doing. We haven't gone backwards by any means. So to me, I guess from a personal standpoint, I think that guys will still learn to adapt and utilize sonar in other ways and utilize it for throwing different techniques other than just minnow fishing and that kind of. I think in my mind it's just 2D pointed forward. You can see a live thing. Is it right now? Is it hurting business and hurting a lot of brands? 100%. Guys, but I'm hoping and thinking guys will learn to diversify and you see it more than just what it is for just strictly a minnow type technique. But for sure, it is affecting sales rate. When a lot of companies that don't have hardbait companies are probably, if you're a hardbait company, life's probably not good right now. We're still selling hardbait, so as a whole. But I think like anything, like someone pointed out in the comments, it's fad, it's cool, it's happening. Guys are doing it to catch fish right now and catching. But guys that don't want to do it are just going to stop doing it. Not everyone fishes tournaments. So all the guys that just want to go catch fish the old-fashioned way, they're going to go out and do it. And you're going to see. You're already seeing it. There's smaller term organizations coming up, and they are banning it as a whole. In the next year or two, or probably next season, you'll see it somewhat bouncing back, just because the guys that are over it are throwing other stuff, and the tournaments are getting rid of it, or at least somewhat. Right. Those sales should go back to going again. And then the thing I was thinking about this way too: if all his attention's on the live scope stuff, let's say there's an event that happens when wind kills it on this crankbait or this jig. Yeah. Now it makes that bait look that much better and cooler because it beat out all those scopers. And so I think, yes, it's a negative thing, but I think things will come full circle like it always does. I mean, it will come back around again. and things will get better. And it's like people keep saying it's new. It's not that new. Hello, Garmin Panoptic's been out for like 9 years now, right?
Right.
It's been around for a while.
It's been around. It's been around, but it's really now in the last year or two gotten to the point where you feel like if you don't have it, you can't compete.
Oh, for sure.
And I can agree with that. Real quick, catch up. I see a lot of comments coming through about the live scope stuff, and I did see one comment coming through that I wanted to restate, which basically said that it's almost like let me see if I can go back and find it, but it's almost like steroids, and we did talk about that earlier, right? Like utilizing that technology is like steroids in another sport, if it's baseball or whatever. I don't know if that's a totally accurate statement, but dude, it does give you something.
Performance enhancing.
It is a performance enhancing
Yeah.
thing that takes you to the next level, right? In your fishing. Other sports have banned like materials and bats, materials and sticks. Golf. I've heard the analogy. People say golfers aren't using, like a rangefinder while they're golfing.
Yeah.
So
or even the ball materials. Like
the ball materials
they
are
put a
limited
limit on something. Yeah,
right.
It's not just complete free for all.
Complete free for all. I mean, it's getting pretty insane.
I know.
I talked to a guy recently that talked about having 2 16s and 2 22s or
Yeah, I'm talking to the same guy. He's 2 16s and 2 18s.
2 16s and 2. That guy's crazy.
And 3 scopes on the front of the boat.
3 scopes.
Yeah.
And using the saltwater box.
Yeah, that's secret. Okay.
And using the Google goggles.
And the Google goggles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Apple.
Yeah.
We did product videos there, and I'm tired of filming minnow baits.
Yeah. It can get a little old. Yeah.
Tomorrow, by the way, we're filming the whole day on minnows.
Yeah, tomorrow's the whole day's minnows. I'm heading back to Jersey. We're gonna film minnows tomorrow. Also seeing a lot of comments come through that I saw a few come through that it's boring watching live scope, that technique on live, watching that. I saw a comment, where was it? I saw a comment come through, a lot of comments about it. So I don't know. I'm so sick of talking about it, but let me change the conversation a little and throw out another rumor that I heard. And I want to get your guys, if you have heard this rumor as well, and get your guys' opinion on it, because you do have sort of stake in this a little bit, which is big rumor floating around the elite tournaments the last few weeks that MLF, Major League Fishing, will officially ban that technology, forward-facing sonar, will officially ban it in 2025 at the invitational level and at the BFL level. Now, have you heard those rumors?
I have not heard that. First from me. Yeah.
Okay, I've heard them hard the last 2 weeks. And what I heard, the rationale, I know you guys are looking at each other like, what? Like we're the title sponsor of that. We should know this, right? And here's the rationale. I heard that they're going to ban it. MLF will ban it at the BFL level because they've lost over $1 million in co-angler participation.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay? Basically, the other part of this rumor that I heard is the man himself or somebody in upper management basically went to the electronics companies / Garmin / Lowrance, all. If you pay us $1 million, if you give us $1 million contract, we'll leave that technology in place. If you don't pay us the $1 million, no more FFS technology in the invitationals and in in the BFLs. What do you think about
Some
that?
leverage right there.
Right?
Yeah.
What I mean, do you think that's a right? Whether that rumor is right or wrong, if it is, if that rumor, if you're MLF and you lost $1 million because, listen, do co-anglers? Yeah, co-anglers don't want to get in the back of a boat with a guy just drifting around aimlessly in the middle of the lake looking for one blob.
What are you talking about? Co-anglers.
So I was going to go fish maybe the one up here or one of the ones back home
With the
and build my own little portable co-angler setup. Get an ice fishing rig and set up. Could you
they had
imagine?
some of those that I cast this year.
Yeah, I want that's so bad one. Man, just for the press and fun of it, like just show up and strap it on some dude's boat and just be scoping around.
Yeah. So let me maybe ask this a different way, and Corey, we'll put you on the spot.
Yeah.
If they do this next year, are you partial to either way? Like, you're a sponsor, right?
Yeah.
You're the title namesake sponsor. If they do this without even asking you, do you like that or don't like that? As a supporter of MLF,
I think they would come and talk to us first when we at least let us know what's going on and kind of weigh the options. But it's twofold. For a personal level, I'm a tech geek. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But as a co-angler, it's horrible to sit there and try to fish behind those guys. So I understand. That is, those more grassroots stuff, those co-angler stuff you need. Without the co-anglers, you can't have those events unless they totally change up the events. It's not going to happen. So there's definitely a need to somehow try to fix that and get those co-anglers engaged in fishing again and wanting to fish those events. Is that the best approach? I don't know. I think even if, I guess from a co-angler's perspective, even if you do regulate it and limit it to just one scope per one transducer for live scope per boat, that's still not going to change how the co-angler has to fish in the event. There's what the fix is. I really don't know. I don't want to see the technology go away. I hate saying that kind of stuff. I think there should be some type of regulation to it, just like NASCAR. That's what that analogy that Swindle was making last time we talked about NASCARs. You could have these if everyone just had whatever they wanted on it and do whatever they want.
Right.
It'd be certain guys could just have sky's the limit, and that's the other thing too is on those low level events, especially at it's cost prohibitive. It's not cheap to put one scope on your shirt. That's a chunk of change. You're talking $5-10 grand. Right. But the guys that sit there have three units on the front, one or two back off the side. And there's guys right now fishing in the tournaments have more money invested just in their electronics
than in the boat itself
than they did in the boat 5 years ago.
Wow.
I tell you, think about how much money if you have 4 units, 4 to 5 scope units on there, transducers. The brakes like that. What's the dollar? That's 60, 80.
Yeah.
80
Some of the boats, I know Brian Schmidt's boat we talked about, I think in one of Taco Ito's boat has more live scopes than I've ever seen in my life. So he has live scopes and rubber dice, which is kind of a cool combination. I agree with you. So maybe a way to handle it is some kind of limitation. Is that what you're saying? Maybe there should be some kind of limitation.
To an extent, a limitation to get we need to get the people fishing this sport. We need to get those claimers back in the boat. Is it some type of regulation, either number of stuff or maybe different events? Like certain events play to scope, right? And it makes for entertaining, more fish catching for the anglers, but less entertaining for the co-angler. Certain events you can have those events where you can still catch plenty of fish, like we have for centuries now, right? And have a really good tournament, a really good TV or event out of it without the scope. So maybe that is certain events compromise. I don't know. I honestly feel somewhat bad for the guys that make those decisions because it's tough. It's tough. It's turning things up.
It's very polarizing. Like I'm trying to scroll. We got 800 people watching. I'm trying to scroll through all the comments, and it's very polarizing. Daniel, it reminds me of politics. We start talking about Republicans, Democrats. It reminds me of that, and I hate that. I don't want to talk politics. But that's very much like this topic. A lot for it, a lot against it, not very many in the middle. So this is I see a comment here. This is from Cromag. I hope I said that right. The difference between steroids and live scope is steroids are illegal and live scope everyone has the option to use. Great comment. Steroids are illegal. Are they illegal? I guess they are illegal, right?
Depends what country.
Depends what country.
Are they illegal in bass fishing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're in upstate New York, and they got more weed shops in 5-mile radius here than anywhere I've ever seen.
Wait, so what if has anyone in the sport ever taken steroids?
I don't know. But they don't drug test here, so maybe I could do that. Yes. So, all right, let's change topics, guys. I am so sick of talking about live scope. Let's go forward. Besides this thing, keep clutching. We have 800 people on. Big news this week, guys. If you're watching, big news. The retirement of 3 really big names of the sport. Of course, at the top of the list, and I got to just tell you, my hero, my fishing hero growing up, Rick Clunn, announcing his retirement at the St. Lawrence tournament. At the same event, another hero of mine, in a different way, Mark Zona, announcing his retirement from the broadcast portion of bass. And then last but not least, Frank Talley, Frank the Tank, Frank Talley, through social media. So 3 retirements in the course of a week. A lot of other rumors flying around of impending retirements. A lot from older anglers. It's a strange time. I guess the best way, I saw it in a post, I think from Bailey, was there's a changing of the guard going on right now in the sport. So if you're watching this, would love to hear, please comment in on your comments about this wave of retirements. You know, is it just a changing of the guard? Is it just an aging out of these guys, or is it something bigger? Are these guys just fed up with all this negativity and they just want to go somewhere and do something else? So let's start. Guys, would you agree? Probably the most iconic, you know, besides Roland, Jimmy Houston, Van Dam, is he the most iconic fisherman ever in professional bass fishing?
I do. So he's one of the big ones I look up to. Just how he goes about stuff, his mindset, how he really breaks stuff down. I'm a detail-oriented guy. I really kind of nerd out on stuff, and he's just listen to that guy talk and just how he breaks stuff down. The sport. Yeah. He's one of those guys you always look up to, and like I get to meet and hang out with a lot of the pros podcasters over the years. And I mean, I can know you're a stud, but to me, you're just you're Mike, you know. But I remember the first time
he said scrub. Not stud. He said scrub.
That was the first time meeting. Yeah. I was like, oh, it's a little, not polarizing, but like beyond shock. But like meeting Clem for the first time, I was like, I was nervous meeting him. You know,
I'm still nervous. You know? Listen, I'm gonna admit this live, and I still get, I like Rick, I consider a friend. I fished with him now for 30 years. I get nervous still behind him. He's like that kind of character to me.
Well, when you first knew him, you were young, so you looked up to him for so long. You still see him like that.
You see him like that. Even though I'm old too now, I still see him like that. The other thing with Rick Clunn is I re-listened to his announcement, and he said he's not retiring. So it's a retirement from the top tour competition, but he wants to fish opens. I think he's going to fish actively locally. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him in MLF events and other things. I can tell you this, as a fan, as a fellow competitor, Rick has been an inspiration for me. He's been a mentor. I've mimicked the way that I fish and think off of what I've read and watched from Rick over the years. And I know he's not a podcast guy, so you know he's not going to watch this. But thank you, Rick Clunn, for being Rick Clunn. He never changed. He was always himself. I appreciate that. You know, thank you for doing what you did. Thank you for inspiring a whole generation of anglers and continuing to inspire people. What a career. Just so happy for his retirement, not sad. And you know, yeah, and I've got people commenting about Rick and his influence, and he's going to be missed. And yes, across the board. But the other thing I would like to say is with Zona, you know, the same thinking about his retirement and leaving Bass, because I just honestly feel that from the standpoint of turning on Bassmaster and watching it, it won't be the same without Z. It won't be the same. So, you know, I think you get used to something, and you get used to, you know, you turn on Bassmasters and Z's there commenting. And the thing that I loved his bass fishing knowledge, and I loved his insight, and I love the fact that he's a fish head himself and he could comment on things intelligently. But I love the little dirty. And if you weren't really listening, you would miss them. But I love the little comments and jokes that came through that made me laugh. And the same thing, I want to say thank you, Mark Zona, for amazing run as a commentator. And we've had our ups and downs over the years from a standpoint of working together. But I consider him a friend, and he had an awesome run. Is it going to be the same? Is Bassmaster going to be the same without Z? Like, they can get other dudes, but
it's like when, like, you know, an announcer for your favorite baseball team retires.
Right.
It's like, it's the nostalgia.
Yeah, because he's iconic.
Voice,
He's iconic.
And the energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
How do you replace Zona? Like, he's like, I don't see who can fill those shoes. You know, it's just like,
it's tough because he had that right combination, like I said, of knowledge and insight,
sense of
humor, personality. That's hard to find that combo together. You know, They would never hire me as a commentator because the freak out that I had at the beginning of this podcast, I would have said that live and I'd be fired like that. That's my.
Retiring though, like they're retiring for what they're doing, but those guys get after it, get working. I'm hoping that he goes back to what he did early on, like the his early on Zona show. What was it when they were like doing all the wrestling with Jeff Creed? And
that was with Jay Kumar, and it was called what was that show called?
Bass Talk Live? No,
it wasn't Bass Talk. It was oh boy, if somebody's watching and they remember the old Jay Kumar Mark Zona show on ESPN.
Loudmouth Bass.
Loudmouth Bass. That was it. Yeah. So good. I'm seeing comments come through about Clun and Zona, you know, both being a big part of the sport. Hard to replace. Definitely going to be missed. I see a lot of that. If you're really old, Bob Cobb, you remember Bob Cobb? Yes, very iconic. And when Ray Scott left and Bob Cobb left, I'm sure there were a lot of these same sentiments going on. So yes. Trolls need to grow up from Dexter's Lore Lab. Yeah, a lot of trolls coming through. I don't know what's up with that. But also, Frank Talley, congrats on your retirement. I saw he made a really nice post that basically said, you know, he said 7 years, the best 7 years of his life, doing something he loved, and I'm paraphrasing it, but he wants to be with his family more, you know, and I can understand that. And same thing, Frank, if you hear this or you end up watching this, best of luck to you in your future endeavors, and I wish you the best, man. It's pretty awesome.
Next week, retirement party, all three at your place. How about that?
That would be cool.
An epic party.
Oh, dude, that would be an epic party. So the Hall of Fame this year, I'm sure, you know, you've got some big inductees. You got Skeet Reese being inducted, Alfred Williams, really cool names. Mark Zona being inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. Nice. So there's going to be some beer drinking going on this year at the Hall of Fame. All right, let's see what we got. Zona leaving Bass is like Jeopardy without Trebek. I would agree with that. It won't ever be the same. Yeah. Is that G on your left? I think that's a comment. You look like Robert G.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that.
G, yeah, G. I don't know if I'm saying it right. Would KVD take over for Zona from Cameron? Cameron, if you go back and watch, we had a recent KVD interview on Ike Live, and I straight up asked him that. And he basically said, I don't want any parts of commentating. He kind of washed his hands of it and said, I don't want any parts of it. So yeah, so maybe not. Eric said, I should replace Zona. Now, listen, Eric, my wife, Becky, joked about this the other day. I would have a hard time commentating because of what I said. I'm very off the cuff. I would get myself in trouble. I'd be fired probably in a day. But the other part of it is, it would be hard because I'm such a competitor.
Yeah.
I think the feelings of not being there and having to analyze it would be tough for me. And what I told Becky, and if Bass is watching, and I know Bass watches a lot of my podcasts, I'm just saying, I know you do, guys. If upper management of Bass is watching this podcast, if you would pay me a couple $100,000 a year, let's put it at two. What would you say? $250. If you pay me $250 a year, I will 100%. I will quit right now, and I'll come replace Zona. $250 a year, and I'll come replace Zona.
But
okay.
I think stipulation, you'd have to put like some A on a delay.
I have to be on a delay.
And a shot collar, like every time you start going off, you just get
or
zapped.
the chicken. We could have the chicken live right here. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, but the ratings would be off the charts. You're right, Eric. The ratings would be off the charts. But they would get fined from the what's the regulatory service that does all the fines that FCC would fine me and Bass, and it would be a mess.
Hey, what's stopping you from just going live?
Nothing.
On Bass is going live. You and Zona go live over it and just do your own coverage of the event. You just do it live.
Dude, this is genius. This is genius.
Make it happen.
Dude, this is genius. We could sponsor it. Happy Warehouse could sponsor it.
$250? I'll take out $1 million.
I would love to do that. The funny thing about that, and I'm glad you brought this up, is if you're a historian of the sport, my good friend Mark Jeffries, we mentioned Bass Talk Live earlier, he did that. He was the first one to pirate the Bass tournaments, and Bass hated him for it. They were literally trying to run him out of public events. Like, they were at like Harris Chain, and it's a park. It's a state city-owned park, for crying out loud. They were trying to. He was onto a technology before anybody else, and he was broadcasting the events live. So
he would go there with the camera.
He would go there. He would broadcast live. He was the first one to do these live podcasts and updates. And Bass was so mad because they'd have to wait till 2 Saturdays from now for the show to air for anything to really come out there. You know, they had the website. I like your idea, Corey.
Yeah,
I like it. We might have to make that happen. Z, if you're watching, hit me up later. I think that's a good idea. We'll have to talk about that. Let's see. Frank says there was no delay when you were taking your screen out on Champlain. That was priceless. Thank you. I appreciate that. Gerald, we got a comment that said Gerald Swindle would be an awesome replacement. I agree with that comment. Yes. G-Man would be awesome in Zona's place. G's funny. I don't want to say he's funnier than Zona, but G's a funny dude. So is this the same Eric that just said that? No, this is a different one. This is Eric Alstrom. I'm sorry, Eric, if I pronounced your name wrong. Did forward-facing sonar take out Zona, KVD, and Klund this year? Eric, you want me to be honest with you? I don't think it was the sole reason. But did forward-facing sonar have a big impact on them retiring now? 100%. 100%. I only have to ask them. I only have to get them on the phone and ask them, it played a part in their retirement, 100%. Is mad he didn't win a hat for Manicat Mondays. Keep trying, George. Eddie agrees with Gerald. Dexter's Lore Lab says that may be true. That's kind of funny. Who do you think is retiring from the elites next? And from my really good friend, Frank Scalish, by the way, be a great commentator. A lot of you know Frank, but if you don't, Google Frank Scalish, ex-competitor, amazing competitor, but smart and funny and insightful. I think Frank would be a great commentator. I'll give you a quick name of some of the next retirees, and I would like to hear your guys' opinion on too. And if you have some ideas, I want to give you mine. I see Clark Wendelet retiring very soon. Bernie Schultz retiring very soon. I see Gerald Swindle. At least I see Mike Iaconelli retiring very soon.
I heard Jacob Wheeler's retiring too.
Jacob Wheeler's retiring. He's won everything. What else does he need to do? Honestly, any guesses on upcoming retirements from guys? MLF or Bass?
Honestly, I haven't really put a ton of thought into, but we were talking in general just on Thursday about that changing of the guard.
Changing of the guard.
You know, and sure, some of it is obviously tied, like you said, to the sonar type stuff, but I mean, it's just the sport comes in waves. There was a huge wave of, the 2003 elites was when things kind of kicked off, and that was into the sport with guys that were all the way older that might have honestly, the sport was back then, it was growing, but that the whole ESPN thing really kind of launched into where we are now.
It had a little,
and so I think it got a lot of these older guys into the sport and it really kind of projected them along, carry them along a little further.
Yeah.
But you think about, again, how some of those guys wanted to retire when YouTube was the thing, like.
Right. I remember.
This company is almost like when, screw these YouTube kids. And
now
all the guys that like the new stuff.
Yeah. I don't want to do social media. Screw it. I'm retiring. Yeah, it's just the next thing. Any names come to your mind of guys that you see retiring, MLF or Bass?
I'm not sure about that because I don't want to say a name. And
here's the thing too, guys. Listen,
I would want to ask these guys why. Like these guys were wondering, is it the forward-facing sonar? Do you threw your name in there?
Yeah.
What would be your reasoning if?
Yeah. So I think my reasoning, and again, I might be over speaking here, but my reason. Let's say I would retire in the next year. My reason for retiring would be a good Frank Talley reason, which is, man, I'm at a point in my life where I want more time at home with my family, right? It was the one negative of this sport forever has been, dude, you're gone a lot. Mm-hmm. And you got kids and, my mom's getting older, my uncle's getting older, right? Like how many years do I have with them? Honestly, you start thinking, that sounds freaking morbid, but you start thinking about that shit.
Priorities change.
My mom's getting older. How many more years do I have with her, right? So you start thinking about those things. So I think family values would be number one. I think number two would be there's more to life than competitive bass fishing.
Yeah.
I want to do other shit. I love, guys, and you know this. And if you're watching this, you probably know this too. I love the podcasting. I love TV. I love being in front of a camera. I would love to get the City Limits fishing show back. So there's other things I want to do in life from a business standpoint. From a personal standpoint, there's a lot of things I want to do with my wife, who's watching down there in that little box. We want to travel and we want to experience life. There's more to life than competitive bass fishing. And then I think you got to sprinkle, Daniel, I think what you were getting at is the negativity in the sport right now is bringing me down a little bit. There's all this cheating scandals. There's the forward-facing sonar. I'm not fishing good right now. I'm, there's that. And then last but not least, I end it with this. And this, I want to make sure I say this because if you look at what Clun did, it's incredible. Athletes in any other sport are retiring when they're in their 30s. You get a 40s? Dude, they're like, how the hell is he doing it? He's 40 for crying out loud. So you get to 50 and 60 or 70. Physically, you're ready to take a break. It's a demanding sport. So there's a physical aspect to it. Speed came through and said, pass the torch to Vegas. Vegas the hammer. I'm ready to pass the torch. Vegas, take the torch. And it's not a blunt. It's just the torch. It's just a regular torch. Take the torch, Vegas. I'm ready to give it to you. Bill Lowen, I see some coming through of guesses for retirements. Gary said Bill Lowen is the next to retire. I see a D Vang said Ike's going to go to be a B-boy in the Olympics. Let's see. James Watson to replace Mark Zona. Hey, that's a good one.
He's going to work for him a lot.
Eddie wants to get to commentate. Is it retirement or avoiding bankruptcy? Came through from Catch a Hog. That's funny. That's a funny comment.
Comment or something?
What did I do?
I think it's like
did I hide it? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry, Lenny. I hid your comment. I didn't mean to do that. John commented again about forward-facing sonar. Is the drama from SLR the new norm of bass fishing? I despise the drama going on right now. All right, Becky wants me to wrap this topic up or wrap the show up. I'm not sure. Probably the show. But I do want to hit one more topic.
Yeah.
One more topic. And by the way, really great crowd tonight. Everybody watching. I so appreciate all the comments, except for that first jerk off. I like all the people on here, and I like all the comments. And everybody, listen, you are entitled to your own opinion. And I respect that everyone has their own opinion. We do live in the United States of America. I love that. There's no right or wrong. This is just a podcast, guys. It's just a podcast. So thank you. Davey Height will replace Zona. I saw it come through. I'm sorry I missed you at Lake Fork. I hope to see you again. The last topic I have, and rare that I get to sit with these two guys on a live podcast like this. Happens about once a year. I do want to corner you on another rumor that I heard, and then segue it to if you guys would ever consider something like this. And when I say you guys, it's more of a tackle warehouse thing. Big rumor floating around in the last month or so that Bass Pro Shops, Johnny Morris, will purchase Pure Fishing. Okay? Heard that from a lot of people, couple sources. A big retailer. How do you feel about that rumor? I guess is the first question. How do you feel about that? And then the second part would be, would Tackle Warehouse ever consider starting to go the route of Bass Pro Shops where they're buying some of those companies, where they're creating their own lures? You know, we talked about this. You guys are doing exclusives now.
Yeah.
You're doing some amazing exclusives. So let's handle the first part. What do you think about that rumor? Johnny Moore's buying Pure Fishing.
I haven't heard that rumor. I've heard there's a lot of big money companies going on buying up a lot of companies. I heard one of them in particular looking at buying Pure and a few other companies. Like they're saying they're buying everybody.
Right. And GSM changed hands again recently.
Yeah.
We talked about. Yeah.
And so I haven't heard the Pure Fishing rumor with Johnny. That could be a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, as far as us buying tackle companies, that's not. I mean, since I won't say it's early on tackle, we've said there's these companies that have amazing products and amazing momentum, but just cannot run a business. They're horrible at it. Like
right.
we wanted to buy those companies and just have them flourish.
Yeah.
Like
help them.
There's so many companies that could be just so much bigger,
Right.
so much better. Have product. It just we have problems all the time with stuff being out of stock, and that's, to be honest, we're not perfect, but a lot of times it's vendors themselves and those companies just dropping the ball on stupid stuff and just not having product when you need it. Like, we wanted to be able to control those things just to. I mean, to sell product, but also we're fish junkies. We want to have the products, the cool stuff when you want it, when you need it, not after the season's over. But when get crankbaits and when it's the wrong time of year. That just so we can help these companies along to just grow and be better.
Yeah.
And that, I guess that almost leads into the same thing about us producing our own lures.
Yeah.
We've never wanted to do that business model where you bring in a brand and they have a great product, and then turn around and
a year later.
Yeah, we've
got
12
months later
a similar product, you could say.
Yeah.
And then sell it ourselves.
Yeah.
That's just.
It's easy to do that in today's world, right?
Is, but it's bad for vendor relations.
It is bad for relationships, yeah.
And we want to work with the companies that we work with to make a different product, make a twist on it, or that's what we do the exclusives deals we do.
Yeah.
So we can hey, we have an idea for a bait or there's something we want to do. Let's work with them and grow the relationship with the brands and the pros, all in lockstep, and grow. I want to say grow the sport, but help everybody move along instead of just trying to just take it all on ourselves and just own it all.
Well, I like that. I think that's a great model. I think a lot of people watching can appreciate that model. And I love what you're doing with the exclusives. This way, I do want to pimp myself real quick here before we go. I had a terrible year, terrible last tournament. But the first day of practice, I caught a 7.12 smallmouth, biggest smallmouth I ever caught in my life, on the Smallmouth Magic exclusive color at Tackle Warehouse. Guys can still get those, I'm assuming?
Still get them. It is a limited run, limited batch run. We did it what we have in stock is all we have. So once we're out, we're out. I mean, it doesn't say if we might try to do it again, but as of right now, there's no plans in the books to actually make another run on this stuff. So if we have some left, I haven't checked. This is the time of year for that bait.
Perfect time of year.
Once we sell, we're sold out for the year for sure.
Yep. All right, there you have it, guys. I want to appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. I want to thank Corey and Daniel for joining us live. Honestly, you might think we're just sitting here doing nothing the whole week in this cabin, but we are working our ass off. So carving an hour out was tough. So thank you guys for doing that. The brand new Ike Series 3.0 out now, available for pre-order on Tackle Warehouse. Go there right now. You could order it. It's an amazing rod. We're going to be filming with them this week. Also brought to you by the Ike Foundation. If you want to help get more kids fishing, head over to the ikefoundation.org, get more information. And thank you guys for tuning in. Keep the comments coming. Keep the questions coming. If you've got guests and ideas you want to hear, let us know. And we're going to sign off with our werewolf masks. And we hope you have a wonderful evening and a wonderful week.
Thank
you.
Hey, sorry, I'm going to cut you. Before we sign off, just because we talked about Rick Club tonight, this is coming from Corey, the tackle junkie, not trying to sell you guys and make you go buy some stuff. But right now, we have Rick Clun's 50th anniversary Ricos, 2 sizes available, and that is a limited run. So if you want some, go. I don't know how many we have left right now. And again, I'm not trying to sell and make some money for tackle. I'm a fan of Rick Clun. Go and get them. Available right now, and my mask is, I don't know where it's at. Oh, here we go.
You have it on to sign out. So we thank you for watching. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and we will see you at the next Ike Live. Okay. Now.
Do you fish for excitement? Do you fish for passion? Do you fish to get outside? Or do you fish to win? Abu Garcia for life. You know, right now where we're standing, we're in Camden, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Philadelphia is right there. This is the concrete jungle. And, you know,
a lot of those kids, as they grow up, they don't fish. It's interesting because they're surrounded by water, you know, the Delaware River, the Schuylkill, ponds, city park lakes, but they don't have the influence to cast, to fish, to have a rod and reel. And that became our focus, you know, is to target kids in what we call non-traditional areas, you know, urban areas, city centers, where the population's high, and let these kids have an experience. You know, it's amazing. I mean, some of the experiences we've had, whether it's Central Park in New York City, here in Camden, other parts of the country, even just casting.
Yes.
It's unbelievable to see it, isn't it?
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
And you know, you see these kids have this experience they've never had, and they light up, you know? The big thing, I think, for the Ike Foundation is we're not saying we want all these kids to become professional anglers.
No.
It'd be great if some of them did, but we want them to have that fishing experience because it ties them to so many other positive things. The outdoors, nature, conservation. Ecology, you know, all these amazing things in life that maybe they wouldn't have been exposed to any other way. We're trying to help with that. So it's important. It's important for us.
Yeah.
We're proud of it.
I subscribe to Bass U TV, and so should you.
Great place to learn about anything you want to know about bass fishing.
You get it at Bass U. We got the best of the best.
I'm not just an instructor, I'm a subscriber.
I'm John Cruz, and I am a subscriber.
You can always learn, and watching Bass U is definitely helps with that. It's something that I like to do, and it's definitely something that you need to do.
If I'm still learning, you should be too.
Subscribe to Bass U because you'll learn how to catch a lot more fish.
Ike Live, brought to you exclusively by Abu Garcia.